In this video, join Mr. Explosion and I as we travel through southern New Jersey to find the best diner in the region. There are some highs, there are some lows, and you're not going to want to miss this. Hey everybody, I'm Elyse Explosion and I am so excited to share this with you. Back in January, Mr. Explosion, my dear husband Michael, came to me with an amazing idea. What if, over the bleak winter months, we went on a series of mini road trips throughout our home state to find the best diner in New Jersey? Now, this is no small task. New Jersey is the diner capital of the United States. There are over 530 diners within the state as of August of 2023. Visiting 530 diners was absolutely not on the table, but visiting a single standout diner from each county? Now that was definitely a bit more manageable. To make our list, we scoured Google and Yelp reviews, local newspaper listicles, and of course watched hours upon hours of diners, drive-ins, and dives. We narrowed it down to one diner in each county, with a handful of backups just in case something had closed in the meantime. We decided that each diner would get a score out of 20, then be faced off in a college basketball style showdown. To do this, we've split the state into 4 regions: North, Central, South, and Shore. For this purpose, whether you believe in it or not, Central Jersey does exist. Diners will be scored on a rubric of 4 categories. First, food. Flavor, portion size, and appearance all come into play here. Next, ambiance. How dinery does this diner feel? Is it clean, crowded, modern, retro? All important factors. Third, cost. Are the prices reasonable for the food that you get? Do they reflect the quality, portions, and any extras? And finally, the bonus category is kind of a catch-all. Here we award points based on the dessert that we've gotten, but also if there's any, repute behind the diner. Was it on diners, drive-ins, and dives? Have local newspapers raved about it in their best diners of the state? We'll find out. In this video, we will be visiting the South region, which comprises of 5 counties: Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, Cumberland, and Salem. To make this easier on ourselves, we decided to do this all in one weekend. 3 diners in one day, 2 on the next. Are you ready? Let's go. Our first stop on this leg of the trip is Olga's Diner in Marshall, New Jersey. Olga's was a bit legendary in Burlington County. The original Olga's opened in 1946, but closed its doors in 2008 due to delinquent tax payments. The new Olga's is unrelated to the original, but more sort of using the name to keep the spirit alive. The first stop in our South Division started off strong with a fantastic-looking specials board and bakery case to match. I ordered the daily special Oreo pancakes with a side of pork roll, and Michael ordered the Italian pork sandwich with a side of fries. We got there early enough that we were only given a breakfast menu, but thankfully there were ample brunch offerings as well. Further research into the menu shows that there is actually a full vegan menu alongside lunch and dinner specials. Our food arrived fairly quickly and looked amazing. My pancakes were light, fluffy, and creamy, just the way I like them, and the pork roll was flavorful and grilled perfectly. Michael's sandwich, however, was just not as show-stopping. The pork was moist and there was a ton of cheese, but the jus served alongside was pretty flavorless. Hang on, do I want to put syrup on it first?
I don't know.
Let's try it without.
Yeah, go without. Are they as fluffy as they look?
They're pretty fluffy.
Yeah, that's a nice fluffy pancake. Good? All right. Decided to challenge myself in the sandwich and make au jus.
Oh, that looks so good, though.
It does look good. All right, and the dip.
And the drip.
The cheese is being left behind.
Like my late great-grandmother would say, it tastes like the pig ran through it. Fries were pretty standard. For dessert, Michael picked out a blue character cupcake themed after our favorite cookie-eating preschool pal to go. This was a tough one for me. Michael had no issue, but to me the cake was dry and crumbly and the frosting tasted like Crisco. Our meal came to a total of $40.47 before tip and dessert, which felt a bit pricey for what we got. Final score? Food, 3.5. Ambiance, 4. Cost, 2.5. Bonus, 2.5, for a total of 12.5 out of 20. We had some time to kill between our meals, so we traveled south to Glassboro in Gloucester County. Glassboro is the home of not only our next diner, but also Rowan University. Figuring there might be something interesting to do in a college town, we pulled into the Heritage Glass Museum, a cool community nonprofit museum featuring information on and unique pieces of southern New Jersey's long and storied history with glassmaking and glass artistry. It's called Glassboro for a reason, after all. The museum is only open for a few hours every Saturday, but within its walls is a truly colorful and beautiful history lesson. Glassmaking in the United States got its start in southern New Jersey due in part to the abundant natural materials in the Pine Barrens: wood, sand, soda ash, and silica. Many glassmaking factories existed in the area even through the late 1990s. The staff was super friendly and gave us a tour, showing off not only preserved pieces dating back to the 1700s, but also recovered pieces from local construction sites. This had absolutely nothing to do with diners, but was an awesome way to spend some time digesting. We saw decorative pieces, Vaseline glass, scientific equipment, molds for making shaped bottles, and a ton more. Admission is free and highly recommended. I even picked up a cool piece with the Jersey Devil on one side and the Salem Oak on the next. More on that later. We told our new friends at the museum about our endeavors, and they all suggested that we visit what was our next stop on the list: Angela's Glassboro Diner, located adjacent to the campus of Rowan University and, unbeknownst to us, literally walking distance from the museum. So we headed over, detoured by Pokemon Go raids, some fun statues on the campus, a visit to the university bookstore, and finally, lunch at Angelo's. Angelo's Glassboro Diner is a Coleman-style modular diner opened in 1946 by Angelo Tubertini. It was bought in the 1970s by the daughter of the original owner and her husband, who sold it to his present owners, a development company, in December 2023. Folks we spoke to questioned how long the diner would remain open after its purchase, but information online seems to confirm that the company has no plans to get rid of a local institution. For starters, this place is small. Intimate, some might say. It was pretty full for a Saturday afternoon, and the booths were cramped. Several spots on the interior seemed rusty, but I'm not sure if that was just regular age or lack of care. The tables were clean and the menu was small, but definitely had a large amount of diner favorites. I ordered a Virginia ham and Swiss sandwich grilled, and Michael ordered the French toast as recommended by the crew at the Glass Museum, with a side of scrapple. Turnover was quick, and we were served relatively quickly for such a busy place. My grilled cheese was perfectly cromulent, the ham wasn't too salty, and there was ample Swiss cheese. I didn't get fries, but I did get a decent amount of pickles, which I always appreciate.
All right. It's like a nice grilled cheese, right?
Yeah. Michael's French toast was also just kind of fine. Pretty generic, nothing to write home about, but the scrapple, according to him, was great. I have yet to work up the courage to try scrapple, so I will take his word for it. Alright. That's good?
Good.
Later that night, we tried the rice pudding. They gave us a whole paper coffee cup's worth. And I was despaired to find out it was just downright inedible. I took one bite, Michael took one bite, and we tossed it in the trash. The rice was undercooked, and it had no discernible flavor to it. The truest saving grace to Angelo's is that even after tax, the meal came to less than $20. I can't spend less than $20 on 2 people at Wendy's these days, so this was nothing short of a miracle. Final score? Food, 3. Ambiance, 3.5. Cost, 5. Bonus, 2. For a total of 13.5 out of 20. From Angelo's, we decided to check into our hotel and take a quick break before going out for our dinner. We had ample time to take a nap and get ready. We tried some desserts and rested up before heading out about half an hour south to Port Elizabeth, New Jersey, and Cumberland County's offering. On the way, we passed a lot of farm fields and emptiness, partnered with some weird glowing blue lights. It was a lot to take in. The Maurice River Diner is an absolute hidden gem in the middle of what feels like nowhere. You look at this place and you just know it's a diner, which is good, because it is. Walking into the vestibule, you see giant ceilings, a specials board, and a claw machine, which is novel and cute. We were seated promptly and handed an extensive menu with all-day breakfast and fantastic dinner special options. I ordered the fried chicken, which came with a side of fries, corn, and a bowl of potato Tuscany soup, which the waitress described as, quote, having big slices of potato in it, end quote. Michael ordered the local blueberry pancakes with a side of pork roll, hoping for a win after the somewhat mediocre lunch he'd had. For starters, they brought us a bread basket, which feels like a rarity these days. I remember getting baskets of rolls and pats of butter all the time at diners when I was a kid, but it's not super common now. That was already a bonus. Then, the food. Potato soup was, in fact, extremely unique, but also probably some of the best soup I've ever had. There were big slices of potatoes, exactly as advertised, and it was creamy and seasoned perfectly.
This is some of the best soup I've ever had. Like, legitimately, this is so fucking good.
My fried chicken may very well be the best fried chicken I have ever had in my entire life. When they say honey dipped, I don't usually expect to taste the honey, but I did, and it was amazing. Fries were pretty good, and corn was corn. You can't go wrong with corn. Michael's pancakes were, according to him, very good, and there were lots of big blueberries in, which is nice for being out of season.
Cheeky footage. Oh, that's a good crunch.
Ooh. I can taste the honey.
There you go. Oh,
This is legit.
nice.
This is legit good.
For dessert, we took a Boston cream cake home with us, which Michael loved. Cake was moist and tasty. After tax and before tip, the meal cost us around $40, which is a little pricey, but also felt reasonable for the portion size, volume, and quality of the food. I would come back here again in a heartbeat, and we may very well be. Final score? Food, 4.5. Ambiance, 4.5. Cost, 3.5. Bonus, 4.5 for a total of 17 out of 20. As we pulled into our hotel that evening, I kind of got into my own head about the project. It was such a daunting task, and I set the dumbest time limit for it. Was this going to be a mountain of unnecessary stress? Were we going to be able to get everything done in time? I looked up to see a dead diner right in front of me in the parking lot. The Prestige was a former Bennigan's that closed in 2022. By all accounts, it wasn't particularly good, but still, the specter of a dead diner loomed over me. When we got back into the room, I was greeted by Guy Fieri and a Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives marathon. I think this was the real sign. Guy crossing the country to visit small restaurants and try food? I could relate. I felt the love. I went to bed after a few hours of Triple D and woke up rested for our next day's adventures. The next stop on our list was about 40 minutes south in Salem County. The Salem Oak Diner, located across from the former Salem Oak, is a small dining car style diner. The Salem Oak itself is of significant historical importance. It was believed to have been part of the original forest that covered the county, and legend has it that in 1675, John Fenwick signed a treaty with the local Lenni Lenape tribe under the tree. Allegedly, this treaty has never been broken. The tree itself fell in 2019, but seedlings were given to several New Jersey municipalities in order to preserve the legacy of the once former tallest white oak tree in New Jersey. The diner itself was quaint. There were jukeboxes on every table, and though ours was broken, it felt like an early 2000s time capsule. Even though we arrived closer to 11 a.m., we were provided only a breakfast menu, which admittedly threw off our groove a bit. Our waitress was very nice. Those are about the only nice things I can say about this place. I ordered Southern-style sausage biscuits and gravy with a side of pork roll. Michael went very old-school diner and ordered creamed chip beef on toast. Both of our entrees came with breakfast potatoes. The first sign that something was wrong was that both of our entrees came out looking practically identical. Whatever the white gravy was that they used, it was obvious that they just took a ladle of it and poured it over both respective plates, rather than having the ingredients cooked inside. And then I took a bite of my biscuits and gravy.
Nice bite up there. There you go.
I think the sausage is Italian sausage, not breakfast sausage.
Friends, it was made with sweet Italian sausage. Not breakfast sausage, but the kind of sausage that is better served in Grandma's Sunday sauce than a breakfast plate. I am trying to be nice about this, but it was absolutely disgusting. All I could taste was the fennel. I ended up eating my potatoes, and that was about it. Michael's chip beef was, according to him, extremely boring. Also, I'm not sure what they did to the toast, but if you have that much trouble cutting toast with a knife, there may be a greater issue. Sadly, the cheesecake we brought home with us, as recommended by the server, tasted like everything that had ever been in a refrigerator all at once.
Bet.
That's spackle. And it tastes like everything else that was in the refrigerator with it.
The baking soda of the dessert case, I suppose. Final score, food, 1.5. Ambiance, 3.5. Cost, 4. Bonus, 0.5 for a total of 9.5 out of 20. We had one more diner before the end of the South region, and though I spent most of the drive on the phone to my parents complaining about the food crimes done to me, we ended up taking a short break at the Cherry Hill Mall in Cherry Hill. I haven't seen a mall so alive in years, and as such, the only footage I took was of this amazing blind box figure vending machine that I spent like $30 in. After a couple hours, it was time for our next and final stop. Ponzio's Diner in Cherry Hill, Camden County, opened in 1964 and is easily the biggest diner we visited so far, possibly ever. It is the oldest eatery in Cherry Hill and has a handful of dining rooms, a full-service bar, and a bakery case large enough to rival some actual standalone bakeries. We did have to wait for a table. It was a busy Sunday afternoon at this point, but we were seated after maybe 10 minutes. The diner just oozes retro, from the wood paneling to the section marker on the wall to various chrome and neon throughout. This place has a very dedicated following, and for good reason. The menu itself was the placemat, breakfast and brunch on one side, lunch and dinner options on the other. Both of us, having been burned by the disappointment of breakfast, opted for things familiar but fresh. I went with a French dip with fries, and Michael got the cinnamon roll French toast with a side of house-made turkey sausage. The food was surprisingly pretty good. I mean, anything would have been an upgrade at this point after having such a disappointment that morning. This was a breath of fresh air. For starters, and the most ingenious thing I've ever seen a diner do, my French dip was cut into thirds so that I could just easily dip it into the jus. There was ample provolone cheese, the jus itself was flavorful and salty, just as it should be, and the roll was a true hard roll.
Yep. Yeah, it's clever to make it
Really smart.
3 slices to get in there easier. Oh, nice crunch.
That's good.
All right, nice. Get the very raisiny top.
That's really good. Okay, we got the happy dance.
Oh yeah, that's real good.
The cinnamon roll French toast was a novel concept and flavorful, but a little dry. But the turkey sausage was, according to Michael, perfect, and that's a win in our book. For dessert, I picked up a sugar cookie and a small chocolate peanut butter tart. Cake? Cakelet? I'm not sure what exact terminology is, but it was moist, fudgy, and absolutely delicious. The cookie was great too, but I'm not counting it as part of the dessert portion because that would be cheating. Final score. Food, 4. Ambiance, 4. Cost, 2.5. Bonus, 4.5, for a total score of 15 out of 20. The final score count for all 5 South Region diners is Olga's Diner, 12.5 out of 20. Angelo's Glassboro Diner, 13.5 out of 20. Maurice River Diner, 17 out of 20. Salem Oak Diner, 9.5 out of 20. And finally, Ponzio's Diner, with 15 out of 20. After the scores were tallied, the winner of the South Region is Cumberland County's own Maurice River Diner with a final score of 17 out of 20. We'll be seeing you again soon, I hope. That does it for the South Region. In our next video, we tackle my home region, Central. This has been a bit over a couple of days, and we actually started filming it before we started doing the South, but it's taken a bit longer, and you'll see why. So everybody, thank you so much. Stay tuned for part 2 coming very soon.